Bette Davis and Joan Crawford obviously had one of the most iconic and notorious feuds in all of Hollywood history. But what if I told you that Bette Davis also hated the woman that played Joan Crawford in Mommy Dearest? Let's revisit the time that Bette Davis did not hold back about Faye Dunaway on The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson. The year was 1988 and Bette Davis was appearing on The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson to promote a movie that she was in at the time. After a while, Johnny Carson asked Bette Davis who the worst person in Hollywood is that she has ever worked with was and who she would never work with again. And that's when Bette responded with, for $1 million, Faye Dunaway. She then went on to say that anyone that would sit in the interviewer chair would say the same exact thing about her. Bette and Faye had worked together on the disappearance of Amy, and Bette said that she is absolutely impossible. She then went on to say that she didn't have the time to list all the reasons why, but that she was uncooperative and that Faye Dunaway is only for Faye Dunaway. She then went on to share a story about a time that her and Faye worked together and then summed up the experience by saying that Faye is unprofessional. And that's when Johnny decided to be a little shady and say that Bette also had a reputation of being difficult. And that's when Bette shut him down by saying never for that kind of thing like keeping actors and crew waiting. Johnny then complimented Bette by saying that she's a true professional, and that's when Bette decided to clap back and say that's exactly what Faye Dunaway wasn't. If what Bette is saying is true, then I'm sure there's a reason that Faye was so good at playing Joan Crawford in Mommy Dearest.